Hey everyone, great to be here. My name is Ariel from SSV Network, and today I'm going to talk about DVT and how it's going to change Ethereum staking. So at SSV, we're developing DVT, which is also a distributed validator tech, and our grand vision is to decentralize Ethereum. We do this with the core belief that Ethereum security should be in the hands of as many people or as many entities or as many node operators as we can, but vulnerable to none of them. And now I think this notion really sets up the stage in order to understand exactly what DVT enables us to do, but I would like to start first with the question of why do we even need it? So looking at the current state of Ethereum staking, it's pretty obvious that stake centralization is a big issue and a risk factor. There's a few entities controlling a big percentage of the stake. We have the centralized exchanging leading staking. We have Lido pretty much dominating the liquid staking. And this is very problematic, not only because of the amount of stake that they manage, but also due to the fact that the bigger they are, the bigger the systematic risk on Ethereum's ecosystem, which really affects all of us, because these single entities are more susceptible to censorship and regulation risks. I think we all witnessed a month ago when the SEC came cracking down on Kraken's staking program. And also, due to economics of scale in staking, there are just not enough incentives in place for the large providers to decentralize their infrastructure, which really contributes to affects client diversity and contributes to potential single points of failure. So what is DVT and how can it help us transition to a more decentralized Ethereum? So DVT, or Distributed Validator Technology, is a new tech primitive in the evolving Ethereum tech stack that enables multiple non-trusting parties to run and operate an Ethereum validator collaboratively. It works by taking a validator key and splitting it up to a set of key shares and distributing those shares to operators within something that we call as a cluster or a validator cluster. Now, each operator in this cluster has a share out of the complete key, and once a duty comes in, they each use that share to partially sign it, and then through a consensus, they all aggregate the signatures to a full signature and broadcast it as a full and valid duty on the beacon chain. These operators, they have a share, and they can't use that share to reconstruct the full key, meaning they only need the share to operate, so you no longer need to have the signing key in a hot wallet, which was a very big security concern in the current Ethereum validator setup. And also, these operators in the cluster can operate using different setups, right? They can use different clients, they can use different data centers, different cloud providers, different locations. So you can achieve greater client diversity when you compare it to the single or standard traditional validator setup that has one set of each. Now, because we use threshold signing and a consensus protocol, you kind of have a fault tolerance built inside of this thing. So in case one operator will go offline, it will not affect the overall performance of the validator, and it will continue to work as long as the threshold is met, which really means that you can save a lot of operational cost in insurance and redundancies and backups. With that said, the benefits of DVT are pretty substantial, right? This shift in the validator operations significantly increased the liveness and security of the Ethereum network, while also dramatically reduces slashing, downtime, or centralization risk when you compare it to the traditional validator setups. And by improving the resiliency of Ethereum validators and Ethereum consensus layer, we can help make Ethereum more decentralized and a secure network for the rest of us. So what can you do with this thing? Because after all, it's infrastructure, and infrastructure is supposed to be used in some way. So off the bat, you can build some great staking pools and liquid staking pools using DVT. Having more operators operate each validator means that you have more operator participations, means that you have the risk shared between more people, so the risk is reduced, but also in a way that gives you higher performance, which really results in more optimized rewards. Staking and institutionals and large staking providers can use DVT to decentralize their infrastructure and mitigate risk associated with large-scale single validator setups, but also in a way that really reduce their operational costs, because now you can run more validators on the same machines. Stakers who want to solo stake can leverage DVT to finally get the performance of top and leading experienced staking providers. They can choose those providers to manage their validators instead of running their own infrastructure, which is a huge barrier for solo staking, right? You have to do maintenance, you have to have some technical expertise, but also do it in a way that they remain in full custody, not only of their validator and principal, but also with DVT, now with their signing key as well. And lastly, DAOs and communities and groups can come together and operate their own validators in a very trust-minimized and reduced risk way. So now that we learned about DVT, let's circle back to SSV. SSV is not a consumer staking application, but a distributed validator infrastructure provider designed for building high-performance, decentralized, and secure staking applications on Ethereum. The way that we decided to implement DVT in SSV is as a multi-cluster DVT network. We did this out of the notion that a safer Ethereum is a multi-cluster Ethereum. We see in the future there will not be a single liquid staking provider controlling the market. There will be a long tail of new and different staking applications. They will use different operators and different variations of cluster. And to support this future, we developed DVT as a network, and we did that by adding two more components. First, a very robust peer-to-peer pub-sub networking, and we also added a smart contract layer on top. Why did we do it this way, or what are the benefits of having DVT as a network? Well, in SSV, operators and stakers can join the network permissionlessly at any time using a single smart contract call. Having smart contracts means there's zero coordination needed in case you want to manage your validator. If you want to offboard the network, if you want to change your operator set, you can do it at any time, no coordination needed. Also, networks gives the network participants to enjoy from networked effects. So any tool that will be developed for a specific cluster can be used by any other cluster and by the entire network, which really reduce the development costs across the board. And networks are transparent, meaning that you'll be able to see your operator performance not only in your cluster, but in any cluster, past and history, which all results in us being able to make better decisions regarding who we choose to manage our operators. And the best part is that it's reusable infrastructure. You can use the same network, the same setups, the same operators time and time again, and the cost of integrating SSV is practically nothing. It's literally a smart contract call. And that's pretty amazing because developing infrastructure for staking, it's pretty hard, it's pretty complex, it requires a lot of expertise and resources. And now that SSV make that infrastructure available as a service, the teams that will build on us will be able to focus on their application, on their business, and not the infrastructure beneath, but still enjoy a world-class performance. And this also means that the next teams will build the next rocket pool. It will not take 3 years, it will take 3 months. And we know this firsthand because we already have teams doing exactly that under these timeframes. So a little bit more about where we are and where we came from. So SSV started about 2 years ago when we received a grant from the Ethereum Foundation to develop an SSV node, which was later then termed as DVT, hence our name. We then turned to form the SSV DAO. It's very important for us to be community-driven, to be transparent, and to have this controlled by the community and not by just a single entity. We onboarded more than 40 different contributors around the world who share our passion for staking and decentralization. And for the past 18 months, we've been running a public testnet during which we had participation from over 3,000 different operators, out of which 100 and more are verified operators. And by that, I'm referring to experienced and reputable staking providers. Some of them are the biggest in the industry. We're experimenting and testing with this technology with intention to adopt it in the future. They are currently running a testnet SSV node, which you can try out and pick today. We also had participation from over 20,000 validators. It was not only important for us to see that this works in scale, but also in par, if not better, than the current performance benchmark. And I'm very happy to say that it does. And we've been working and putting a lot of effort on nurturing a very healthy and vibrant ecosystem around our protocol. of leading staking providers, of strategic partners, of different staking applications. And as you can see behind me, there's already more than 25 different teams dedicated to use DVT and SSV as their infrastructure, which really shows that the state of Ethereum, which I talked about in the beginning of my talk, will look a lot more different in the future to come, and we will have not a single or a few entities managing the majority of the stake, but a lot of them. Now, I want to use this opportunity to reach out to all the devs here and share with you our different funding programs. We recently launched a 50 million ecosystem fund with the goal to bootstrap teams building DVT-based applications. Personally, I think that with the Shanghai update just around the corner, there's never been a better time to capitalize on this and get into staking. So if this interests you, if you're a serious team, if you know how to execute, come talk with us. We would love to partner with you. So where do we go from here? As I said, this has been 2 years in the work, and right now we are finalizing our V3 testnet scheduled to go out in April. V3 testnet is our scaling and security testnet, and with our audits already scheduled and underway, it's pretty safe to say that you're all going to see DVT on mainnet this year, and even sooner than you might expect, so keep a close eye on our progression. And to summarize, tying it all together, DVT basically enables you to take an Ethereum validator and distribute it between multiple non-trusting parties. Alongside technologies like L2s that help scale Ethereum or MEV that help us capture value from it, DVT is basically the missing piece that is required to decentralize the Ethereum base layer. And having more resilient infrastructure and implementation like SSV that make that infrastructure reusable in a permissionless way will really pave the way for a long tail of new different staking applications. Also in a way that will really change the design and benefit existing applications. Liquid staking pools will have greater performance and bear less risks while offering a greater operator participation. Staking providers will have a more robust and cost-effective decentralized infrastructure, and solo stakers will be able to perform with the performance of world-class providers. All in all, we'll put security, Ethereum security in more hands and make Ethereum a more decentralized and secure network for the rest of us. If you want to hear more from us, I'll be on a panel this afternoon regarding liquid staking and capital efficiency. Very interesting. Come hear us out. And if you have any questions, me and my team will be outside waiting for you. Thank you for listening and enjoy your week in Dubai.